Man, I love having this light. Anyways, I know it's been a little while, but welcome back to the channel. And today it's not going to be a vlog, it's actually going to be a product review. Pretty cool, right? So today I'm going to be reviewing finally our baby Brezza that we've had since our son was born. And let me tell you, this thing has been a lifesaver. But I will say that there are definitely some ups and downs. But before we get started, I just want to ask, real quick, just go down below, hit subscribe, like the video, share the video, do all that fun stuff. If you do enjoy or find this video helpful to you, on this channel I like to do vlogs and product reviews, things that I actually use pretty much on a daily basis. So anyways, back to the review for today. We're going to be talking about the Baby Brezza Formula Pro. I think it's the Formula Pro Advanced. It's like their highest tier formula baby bottle making device that they have. So I mean, if you're a new parent or even a returning parent, I don't know if that's the correct way to say that, but I will tell you that this Baby Brezza thing is such a lifesaver. I'm telling you, like the ways I couldn't even imagine making bottles like any other kind of way. And I don't know if that makes me like such a first world person or something like that or whatever, but I'm telling you, the Baby Brezza will change your life and it'll make your life a whole lot easier. I have a list of pros and cons I wanted to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is a pro of the Baby Brezza, and that's getting a bottle for your baby. It's so fast with this thing, like seriously. You just take the bottle, put it underneath, make sure it's open so that the liquid can get inside, press start, and it does the rest for you. And with that, the Baby Brezza, you can like set it up so it can output like a certain amount of ounces of formula, and it also outputs the baby formula in like a certain temperature that you want, so you can have like a, I don't know, like a low room temperature, warm, and like the warmest temperature. I think there's like 3 heat settings, but I mean, it is so fast. It's amazing to have, especially if you just so happen to be watching the baby by yourself and the baby's crying because it's hungry, but you don't want to like set it down. You want to comfort it as much as possible to kind of keep the crying under control and make sure that the baby doesn't hurt themselves somehow. I'm telling you, just being able to put the bottle in, press start, and for me at least, I'm able to hold my son and make him a bottle at the same time, with just one hand. Like the Baby Brezza is amazing, especially when you have like an upset baby. It's a life changer. Now, to go off of that some more, a con that I have for the Baby Brezza is that you can't do things like half ounces when you're setting up the settings. You can only do whole ounces. So you can't do like 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 ounces. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up until 10. So if your baby is like in between like 2 ounces and 3 ounces, you can't do 2.5. You have to do 2 or 3. So that's kind of a bummer, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think this Baby Brezza is still way worth it. Now, a pro of this Baby Brezza is that it does tell you when it needs to be cleaned or it needs more water inside of it. And it's very helpful, especially when you're trying to make sure that your baby doesn't get sick from any kind of contamination, because inside the funnel thing, some of the formula can get like kind of caked on, and you don't want that to grow bacteria and get your baby sick. So it tells you when you need to clean out the funnel. It also tells you when it needs more water, which is very nice. You don't want to have to try to make a bottle and you realize that it's not making any bottles or making enough formula because there's not enough water in there. So there's a nice little water indicator to let you know that you need to fill it up with some more water. Now, kind of going off of that, a con of that is that the funnel typically needs to be cleaned after like every 3 or 4 bottles. So you don't get very many out of it throughout the day before you need to clean it, which can take up some time, but I don't know, to me at the end of the day, it saves a lot of time just being quick when it comes to making the bottles. But like I said, like every 3 to 4 bottles that you make, you do need to clean a funnel. You gotta, take it out, clean it out, dry it off, and put it back in. So that's kind of a bummer. I wish you could go a little bit longer with making bottles before you have to clean it, but I understand. It's a cleanliness thing, so gotta make sure that baby stays safe and healthy. Now, for another pro I want to talk about, it does have a lot of settings, so it can fit, I want to say most, if not all, but since I don't really know all the formulas out there, it fits like most formulas out there. There's a setting that you can put the Brezza to, and it'll dispense like the perfect amount of formula to water ratio for your kids' bottles. So that's pretty cool. It supports a lot of different kinds of formula out there. Now for a con, when it comes to like cleaning and maintaining and getting it more water, the water bucket on the back can be a little hard to get to if you don't have the baby Brezza in like an easily movable spot. Where we used to have it, it was kind of tough to get to the back of it so we can fill it up with water. Since then, we've moved it to a better spot, so it's a lot easier to get into the back and fill it up with water. So you gotta kind of watch your placement for the baby Brezza. Now another pro for the baby Brezza is, whenever you're going out somewhere, taking your baby places to like see family, well, probably not so much these times, but you know what I mean. You're taking your baby somewhere and you need to stock up on the diaper bag with some bottles for the baby to eat later on. The great thing about the baby Brezza is that it has an only water mode, so it only dispenses water and not the formula, because if you didn't know, once you make a bottle, that bottle is only good for about an hour before you have to throw it out, because then it starts growing bacteria and stuff that can get your baby sick. So luckily this baby Brezza, it has the ability to only dispense water, so you can just fill up the bottle with the amount of water that you'll need for the bottle later on, and then you can do whatever you need with the formula powder to bring with you. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's very nice to have, especially because you can dispense the water at a temperature that your baby will need in order to, eat their bottle. Now another con for this thing is that it only goes up to 10 ounces. So I don't know how many babies actually drink more than 10 ounces of formula before they move on to solid foods, but I think for some babies, that might be the case where the baby will eat more than 10 ounces. Like right now, my son is at 8 ounces. He is starting to eat solid foods, but don't know how soon it will be before he's completely weaned off the bottle. But right now, he's already at 8 ounces. He has 2 more to go before we can't give him any more from that baby Brezza, because after that 10 ounces, the minimum is 2 ounces. So I can't put 10 ounces in a bottle, then change the setting to 1 ounce and give them that 11th ounce or anything like that. So minimum is 2, maximum is 10. Kind of sucks, especially like I said earlier, you can't do steps in between 1.5 or 2.5 or anything like that. So that's a con for the baby Brezza. But if your baby never goes up to 10 ounces or past 10 ounces, it'll be fine. Now, another great pro for the baby Brezza is that it can accommodate to different bottle sizes, different width and girth and height. It's very adjustable, and it works very well with different kinds of bottles. So it's a nice thing, because a lot of people have different kinds of preferences when it comes to bottles that they use for their babies. So it's very nice that this thing is very accommodating to different kinds of bottles. And now for my greatest con, and probably the last part of this video. The greatest con for this baby Brezza is that you can get a defective unit. And when you get a defective unit, it can be tough to get a new one, or a replacement one, especially when it's under warranty. Because if you buy it new, it's going to have a year warranty with it. And I don't know how many people are going to keep using the bottles after a year of their baby's life. I don't know. I'm a new dad, I don't get things. But I will say that you can run into an issue where the Brezza will not dispense enough formula for the bottle. We were going through that a little bit with our baby Brezza. It wasn't dispensing enough formula, so my son actually was a little underweight at one of his appointments. And we noticed that it seemed like the Brezza wasn't dispensing enough formula, because when we shake it with one of our old formulas we used to give my son, it used to be a lot more foamy, and then it started becoming less foamy after we shake it, after the Brezza did its thing. So we had to, my wife had to at first, and then it ultimately came to me, where I had to get in contact with the company, and several times, because I think the first few times I tried to get in contact with them, I couldn't get through to them. And then when I finally did, anyways, we'll get into that. But getting in contact with them, you gotta do several things for them before they decide whether or not they want to send you a replacement Brezza for your, broken Brezza. They'll want you to do things like clean it out, make sure it's really clean. They want you to record videos and take pictures and all this craziness. And let me tell you, trying to record a video that you can email is really hard to do, because the file sizes are usually too big to send in an email, because they'll ask you to dispense water from the Brezza on video, and depending on the quality of your video, the file size can be huge. So it was really tough and I was getting really sick of it. And I just finally got to the point where I was like, hey man, my son was underweight at his last appointment. I need you guys to send me a new Brezza because this one is not working. Like, I have documentation, like medical documentation that my son is underweight. We need a new Brezza. And so of course with that, they decided, like finally decided, because like I spent several days trying to, like emailing back and forth, trying to figure out what to do and trying to get them whatever information they need. And like I said, I got to the point where I was just tired of it. And so then they finally sent us a replacement unit. We had to send them our old unit and haven't heard from them since. So I'm guessing that we were right. That old unit was indeed broken. So that's something you need to watch out for. Make sure that the Brezza is dispensing enough formula for your baby. You know, really watch your baby's weight. If it seems like they're not really growing or anything like that, you know, just really pay attention. But anyways, that's it for this video. Like I said, if you liked the video and it was helpful, like and comment down below, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I like to do vlogs and product reviews. Catch you in the next video. Peace.